Hi, this is Betty. Just wanted to know, did you watch that Comey hearing before the U.S. Senate committee the other day? Comey, James Comey, is the former director of the FBI who was fired recently by President Donald Trump, allegedly fired because the president decided, who should know, that Comey is a showboater and that under Comey, all of the FBI was in disarray and that the staff had no respect. To hear Trump tell it, the FBI was falling apart under Comey. Comey had no credibility. Well, the fact of the matter is that Comey said, flat out, he told the Senate Investigative Committee that the president is a liar, that is not true, that did not happen, and that the reason why President Trump fired him is because Trump would not pledge, as Trump had demanded in a private meeting, loyalty. He said he demanded loyalty from the people who work for him. And he didn't demand loyalty that Comey be loyal to his job, to his duties, to the oath he took as director of the FBI, not that he be loyal to his main constituents, the people of the United States of America, but that Comey, in order to keep his job, should be loyal to the president. The way Comey framed it and the way he suggested it, it implied that we may not just have Donald Trump in the White House, but we might have Don Corleone. Trump was so gangster that in these meetings with Comey, where Comey said he felt uncomfortable and perhaps a little intimidated by the president's saying that I hope you will take care of stopping that Michael Flynn investigation. That was Trump's NSA national security advisor who had to be fired early in the administration because he lied about his connections to the Russians. He wanted him to stop that investigation. So Trump, in other words, according to Comey, found an excuse to fire him. But he also wanted him to chill out on the FBI's investigation of the connection between the Trump administration and the Russians who hacked the U.S. elections. Comey didn't cooperate, so Comey was shown the door. But being the savvy FBI man that he is, Comey said that he felt that Trump would try to harm him, destroy him in some way. And so what Comey did was every time the president met with him alone and engaged in what Comey implied to the committee were these coercive tactics, Comey kept copious notes. He wrote memos to himself. It's called cover your ass. A lot of us know about that. When you're on a job with somebody and it feels like they're out to get you, don't feel like you're paranoid. Maybe you do have to keep notes. So he kept these copious notes that he gave also to a friend of his in the law school at Columbia University. And after Trump fired him, didn't even fire Comey to his face, but while Comey was out in L.A. Talking to the troops, indeed, Comey thought it was a joke. He was never even allowed to go back to the CIA to pick up his stuff, to the FBI to pick up his stuff. He flew back, job gone, career gone, and he told his friends, okay, you release these contents of these memos to the New York Times. And the New York Times did a story about how the president had demanded loyalty. You know, the kind of thing that we all saw in the Godfather movies, or maybe Donald Trump sees himself as, if not Don Corleone, maybe he sees himself as the Pope and everybody around him is supposed to kiss his ring. In any event, Comey didn't cooperate, and Comey was able, through his manipulations, and he admitted this, to get a special prosecutor appointed to look into the Trump administration's connections, the campaign to Russia, but to more than that, to some other things that maybe what the behavior that the president engaged in was really not more than abuse of power, but really an impeachable offense. So the hearings were interesting. But what I thought is that Donald Trump, who considers himself a real tough guy, okay, a Don Corleone type, he is so gangster that even the head of the FBI, who is also a gangster, he's no Boy Scout, okay, thought that he had to keep notes because he knew or he believed that the president would lie and smear him, which is exactly what the Trump people have done since Comey left public office. Now, Comey may have come to a lot of people's attention when you remember last year he came up with the idea that Hillary Clinton's email investigation had been opened up again because of some new information. It turned out to be nothing, but by then it was a few days before the election, and so Hillary Clinton still blames James Comey for her defeat in November. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of Democrats thought that Comey overstepped his line. So there was some thinking that when Trump fired Comey, he would not expect the blowback that he got, simply because he knew that there were Democrats who didn't like Comey either. But let me tell you, Trump has pushed around a lot of people in his day. The lawsuits, courts across the country are littered with the carcasses of individuals and of businesses and lenders who say that they've been stiffed by Donald Trump and bullied by Donald Trump. So after he has been so successful at bullying people, he must have thought, well, I can do this. President of the United States, I can bully anybody I want. But let me tell you something. The FBI, messing with the FBI, messing with the people who know how to make a mess out of your life, and the head of the FBI was probably one of Trump's biggest mistakes. It was a card that he didn't have to play, but he played it. And now Comey is coming back at him. Comey, like I said, he is trained in law and he's trained in counterintelligence. That's why he kept those memos. He knows where the bodies are kept. So Trump can fire him, but he can't unknow what he already knows. And Comey probably knows a lot which was not shared in that hearing because they said it had to go behind closed doors. But let me tell you what I know about the FBI. I remember back in the 60s under J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI tried to engineer the destruction of the civil rights movement, and it didn't matter. It had dossiers open and ran counterintelligence from everybody from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to the lovely Rosa Parks, from Huey P. Newton to Stokely Carmichael of SNCC. The FBI and the J. Edgar Hoover was relentless in trying to destroy the civil rights movement and civil rights activists and anti-war activists back in the 60s. Now you got to figure in the years since then, the FBI has perfected its procedures on how to get people. Even I got a visit from 2 FBI agents on my job when I was a volunteer at the SNCC office in New York, and H. uh, Rat Brown disappeared, and the FBI wanted to find him. And 2 agents came to my office to question me, not directly but indirectly. They know their tactics about what was going on, who was going with who was sleeping with who. That's what they wanted to know because they would use that information to destroy relationships. So often, FBI doesn't come at you straight up in terms of what they really want to know, but they try to put the pieces together by making relationship connections. Trump's life is just too messy to be messing with the FBI. And he has a worthy opponent in James Comey who is trained in how to do this. So we don't know how this is going to end. And in the end, the presidential protections may keep Trump from going to jail or may keep Trump from being impeached. But the fact of the matter is that before it's all over, I do believe that somebody's going to go down. And it may be Trump's own children that may go down because as this investigations or all these investigations widen, it's not just Comey, but there's some other things that have been going on that are untoward. Now, some of the Republican leaders, most of them have been silent about this stuff that would, if this was Hillary Clinton, she would have already been impeached, or any Democrat, and certainly if it was Barack Obama. They know that Trump is trouble. They know that Trump has all these connections to people who've been enemies of the United States through his businesses. They know what kind of man he is. They know the lawsuits he's had. They know what he said about women, what he says about women as objects. They know that he lied about Barack Obama, that he in fact rose to his career by alleging that President Obama was not a citizen of the United States. So Trump has a long history, but the Republicans are largely silent. And they're silent because while we're all paying attention to these hearings and to the Russia stuff, they are busy pursuing their agenda, undoing regulations that protect consumers and workers and other things, while Trump is. They know that Trump is out of control. They know that Trump is moronic in a lot of ways, but they're not moving against Trump because what they want to do, they want to hold out, hopefully, until somebody on the U.S. Supreme Court dies or retires so that they can control the courts. Mitch McConnell and them are quiet. Paul Ryan ought to be ashamed of himself. But these people have proven themselves to be shameless. Shameless when it comes to Donald Trump because they have a broader agenda, and that is to eviscerate the Obama legacy, to destroy what they call Obamacare, affordable health care. They don't really have alternatives. They just want to destroy what is. So while we're paying attention to all of Trump's crazy tweeting and all of these hearings, and we're sort of looking at Russiagate, Republicans are very quiet about this sociopath in the White House. And Trump is a narcissist. He tells lies, and Comey said it in his hearing the other day that Trump, he did not say once, he did not say twice, he said 5 times that Donald Trump is a liar. So believe you me, that before it's all over, somebody's going to jail. And if Trump's history is any experience, he will allow everybody to go under the bus. And he may come out with nothing. But by the time Trump finishes, by the time this president leaves the White House one way or the other, kicking or screaming, impeached, or just outvoted, the fact of the matter is the Republican Party will be standing there with no clothes on and no credibility, because this is just an awful time. Every day I wake up and I wonder, when I turn on the TV, will I learn that the president has started World War III? Will I learn that the president has insulted another ally? I don't know how long this can go on, but this is the biggest mess that I have ever seen in politics. And I tell you what, there is going to be a price to pay. I do believe that the Republican Party will reap what it sows, and that in fact maybe the American people will wake up. There will always be those who will support Trump, but I suspect that a lot of them thought they were voting for a businessman and not a gangster, that they were voting for Donald Trump and not Don Corleone. I'm just saying. Except the difference is that this is no movie. This is no Godfather movie. This is real life. And I think that we've got a man in the White House who is out of control and who, before it's all over, is going to take a lot of people down, and in fact will take us down. And the Republican Party will stand on the side as it leaves us naked and without protections as consumers and workers and senior citizens and kids who need health care. So the next time you think that what goes on in Washington has nothing to do with you, you better think again. You better think again, because even the FBI, the former director of the FBI, has let us know that in his opinion, Trump is a liar and possibly a crook. I'm just saying.